Welcome to Whispers of English. Let's explore Mark's busy daily routine together. Don't forget to subscribe and join us.
Mark was a tall man with black hair and glasses. He worked as a marketing manager in a big city. He lived in New York, where every day felt like a race against time. He woke up early every morning at 6:30 a.m. The alarm clock rang loudly, and Mark quickly checked his phone. He had many emails to read and respond to. After checking his emails, Mark got out of bed and made his way to the kitchen. He needed his first cup of coffee to wake up fully. As he stood in the kitchen, his tall figure and black hair were reflected in the window. After a quick breakfast of toast and eggs, Mark put on his glasses and got ready for work. His office was in a tall building in the middle of the city. To get there, Mark had to take the subway, which was always crowded. At 7:30 a.m., Mark left his apartment. The streets were full of people rushing to work. Mark, with his long legs, walked quickly to the subway station. He bought his ticket and squeezed into the train. He didn't like the crowded train, but it was the fastest way to reach his office. While on the train, Mark looked at his phone again. He had an important presentation today and needed to prepare. By 8 a.m., Mark reached his office building. The building was tall and made of glass, reflecting the morning sunlight. He took the elevator to the 25th floor, where his office was. His day was already full of meetings, and the first one was starting soon. Mark quickly made himself another cup of coffee and went to the meeting room. At 8:30 a.m., the team meeting began. Mark, adjusting his glasses, listened as his team talked about the project they were working on. Everyone had ideas, and they needed to work together to finish the project on time. Mark listened carefully and gave his opinion when needed. After the meeting, Mark had some time to work on his presentation. This presentation was important because it was for a big client. Mark knew that if the presentation went well, the client would give the company a big contract. He worked hard on his slides, making sure everything looked perfect. By lunchtime, Mark was very hungry. He didn't have time to go to a restaurant, so he bought a sandwich from a nearby shop. He ate quickly at his desk while reading more emails. Even though he was busy, Mark enjoyed his work. He liked solving problems and working with his team. At 2 p.m., it was time for the big presentation. Mark felt a little nervous, but he was also excited. He had practiced many times and knew the material well. The client entered the conference room, and everyone sat down. Mark began his presentation. Adjusting his glasses, he talked about the company's marketing plan, the strategy they would use, and how it would help the client. The client listened carefully and asked some questions. Mark answered all the questions confidently. By the end of the meeting, the client seemed happy. When the presentation was over, Mark felt relieved. He knew he had done a good job. His boss thanked him, and Mark returned to his desk to finish the rest of his work for the day. By 5 p.m., it was time to go home. Mark took the subway back to his apartment.
Woke up example from text. He woke up early every morning at 6:30 a.m. Explanation: this phrase indicates the action of getting out of bed in the morning. Daily life. I woke up at 6 a.m. today to prepare for my exam. Alarm clock example from text. The alarm clock rang loudly. Explanation: this refers to a device that makes a sound to wake someone up. Daily life. I need to buy a new alarm clock because mine is broken. Emails. Example from text. He had many emails to read and respond to. Explanation: this means he received several electronic messages that needed his attention. Daily life: I check my emails every morning before starting work. Coffee. Example from text: he needed his first cup of coffee to wake up fully. Explanation: this suggests he drinks coffee to feel more alert and awake. Daily life: I always make a cup of coffee as soon as I wake up. Breakfast. Example from text: after a quick breakfast of toast and eggs. Explanation: this refers to the first meal of the day that he ate quickly. Daily life: I like to have oatmeal and fruit for breakfast. Glasses. Example from text: Mark put on his glasses and got ready for work. Explanation: this indicates that he wears glasses to help him see better. Daily life: I wear my glasses when I watch TV. Subway. Example from text: to get there, Mark had to take the subway, which was always crowded. Explanation: this refers to an underground train system used for public transportation. Daily life: I take the subway to avoid traffic on the road. Crowded. Example from text: he didn't like the crowded train. Explanation: this describes a situation where there are many people in a small space. Daily life: the mall is crowded on weekends, so I prefer shopping on weekdays. Meetings. Example from text: his day was already full of meetings. Explanation: this indicates that he has scheduled discussions with colleagues throughout the day. Daily life: I have a meeting with my team at 2 p.m. today. Presentation. Example from text: Mark needed to prepare for an important presentation. Explanation: this refers to a formal talk where he presents information to others. Daily life: I practiced my presentation several times to feel confident. Client. Example from text: the client entered the conference room. Explanation: this refers to a person or business that receives services from Mark's company. Daily life: I always try to understand my clients' needs to serve them better. Work. Example from text: he liked solving problems and working with his team. Explanation: this suggests that he enjoys his job and collaborating with colleagues. Daily life: I enjoy my work because it challenges me every day. Hungry. Example from text: by lunchtime, Mark was very hungry. Explanation: this means he felt the need to eat after a long morning. Daily life: I usually feel hungry after my morning workout. Finish. Example from text: he returned to his desk to finish the rest of his work for the day. Explanation: this means he completed his tasks before leaving. Daily life: I need to finish my homework before dinner.